What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today we have some recruiting we got to do. Now, I was looking forward to this, and then all dreams and hopes went down in a dumpster fire. All right, so we end the season. We do get Ryan Weber. He is from Louisiana. We try to talk to him about program prestige. I guess I must have forgot to talk to him about location, because that's all we have. All we have is the fact that you can play close to home. Your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your brothers and your sisters, and your best friend, even your girlfriend, come see you play college ball. Matt Leinart, he is your Heisman Trophy winner. This would have been 2 in a row. He would have been the second college football player to ever win 2 Heisman trophies. Reggie Bush finished second, and then you got a halfback from Virginia, quarterback from Texas A&M, and then another running back from the University of Auburn. Reed, highest QB rating at 213.1, absolutely freakish type of numbers. Matt Leinart is right behind him at 207. Of course, Matt Leinart is probably gonna be one of the best quarterbacks in the whole nation, but you know, I mean, that's just it goes without saying, it goes without saying. When it comes to yardage, Matt Leinart is on top, but our guy Brian Brooks is second at 3,820 yards. Just 16 TDs for him. Not a great year when it came to throwing the football into the end zone, but it is what it is. When it comes to rushing touchdowns, though, look at our guy, Brian Brooks, in the top 5 at number 16. So I guess technically could be top 4, depending on how you calculate the numbers in your own head and in your own mind. Joe Davis, 120 receptions, 1,712 yards receiving, 18 touchdowns for him. He is first team All-American out of BYU, and we could use a receiver like that. He averaged 155 yards per game and had 1,200 yards after the catch. That's absolutely phenomenal. Jason Brown is one of your best offensive linemen. House brought the house with 92 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, which is not first. That goes to Hancock out of Hawaii. He had 28 tackles for loss. He also had 11 sacks. Josh Brown out of Monroe had 11 sacks to lead the whole country. And then Charles, Big Charles from Alabama, the free safety, had the most interceptions in college football. Then Chris Jones with 14 bat downs. That's tops. And then, of course, the forced fumbles as well. So Brian Brooks, he has first team independent honors. I really thought he was going to have a chance at All-American. We were just too bad. And remember, his numbers are phenomenal, but he missed the last 2 games of the season with the suspension. And he missed the game before his last 2 games with being suspended for the first half and then getting injured in the Tulane game. So he missed about 2.5 games, of football, but he was still able to put up some tremendous numbers. So my expectations in recruiting is that we're going to have a lot of receivers that want to come to town. Because running back is so heavy in this game, I'm thinking we're going to have a handful of running backs that want to come to town, and I think quarterback will be at a premium as far as people that want to come play for Hugh Jackson's spread attack. Now, next season, we may try to go a little bit more balanced. We might try to go under center a little bit more, but still spread things out using the ace or single back formation. Use a bunch of 12 and 11 personnel, and then I guess you would call it 10 personnel if people even use that term, but go just empty one running back and spread things out with 4 receivers, but under center and a single back. Look, something that we might try. So the New Orleans Bowl had North Texas lose to UCF. The Champ Sports Bowl had FIU losing to Georgia Tech. The GMAC Bowl, you have Bowling Green losing to Tulsa. Hawaii, they will lose to Utah in the Posada Bowl. And then you got Fort Worth Bowl right there. You got Houston beating Fresno State. Las Vegas Bowl, you have North Illinois beating TCU. Hawaii Bowl, UAB beats Boise State. The MPC Computers Bowl, you got Boston College beating up on Louisiana Tech. Then you got Miami of Ohio losing to Nevada. LSU in the Independent Bowl, they beat Missouri. No, they got beat by Missouri. No, they did beat Missouri by 6. Tulane, they fall to Toledo. Texas did not make it to the championship game. They lose to Wisconsin and the MasterCard Alamo Bowl. The Monarchy Car Care Bowl. You got Virginia over Central Michigan. Then you got Kansas State over Florida in the Houston Bowl. And then moving on from there, the Emerald Bowl. SAU fans, you remember that bowl very, very well, don't we all? Wyoming over Southern Miss in that bowl. Then Washington, they fall to Texas A&M. Auburn, they beat the brakes off of Iowa. Cal, they fall to Michigan State. UNLV loses to UTEP. Florida State beats Alabama in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The Outback Bowl, you got Georgia handling business versus Ohio State. South Carolina over Colorado. Rutgers, they're going to lose to Maryland. And then you got Illinois, they are going to lose to Tennessee. Sugar Bowl, USC over Ole Miss. Fiesta Bowl, Virginia Tech over Oklahoma. And then the Orange Bowl, Purdue over Louisville by a touchdown. And then the national championship game, Miami versus Michigan, 30-20, Miami wins yet another national championship. Has Miami and Michigan played that many football games? I'm not quite sure. So we're going to take some away from training, take some away from discipline, and put it into recruiting. Because I feel like with all the training that we could do, I don't think we're going to be able to turn these guys into superstars. I want these guys to develop, obviously. I don't want anybody to not reach their full potential. But at the end of the day, we got to get people with maybe a little bit more athleticism, maybe a little bit more better at football into our grips, into our program. So we are going to focus on recruiting because Whitmore, he was Mr. Everything. He led the team second in tackles, I want to say, first in interceptions, led the team in rushing yards. He was Dr. Do-It-All, all right? But we're going to have to find a way to replace him, especially on the offense side of the ball. Defense is going to take a while. Until we get our front seven right, it's going to take a while, and that might take some time. So this round of off-season recruiting, I'm like, bro, we got 22 points to work with, and I put 50% to it. Imagine if I would have left it at like 34 or whatever. We would have had 0. So you see all the needs. Look at this. Like, look at this. We have a lot of holes. Now, it says way over to the right side that we only need one here, one here, one there. Like, nah. We need a whole bunch because right now, the talent on the team just really isn't there. We do have this 4-star free safety, this 3-star DN, and this wide receiver already coming to town. But I'm like, yo, we got to do better. So I'm staying close to home. Pipeline states only. And I mean that. Louisiana, obviously, because that's where we reside. Texas, just cross the border. And then hop over a state. We're going to be over in Alabama. Because those are the only pipeline states that we have available to us. And I'm like, yo, what are we going to do? I was expecting to have a bunch of guys like halfbacks and receivers want to play for us. But we need a strong safety. And I'm looking at these numbers like, okay, maybe we can get some of these guys, but I'm like, I don't even know if I can like afford to take chances in recruiting. Like, I can't go after somebody that does not have us in their top 2. Forget top 3, but top 2. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if I feel like we have a chance at somebody and we have them and we are at their 5th spot as far as top 5 schools, I might take some chances. This time around with just 22 points, I can't do that. I can't even send my head coach anywhere because we ain't got no frequent flyer miles. We got to Uber to see these prospects, okay? We got to hop in a taxi cab. We got to call mama to come bring the hoopty around the corner so we could go see these recruits. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. So those are our targets, and I'm just hoping that it works out. But then I'm like, nah, we can't go after these linebackers. We're going to have to hope that a halfback can play linebacker, or just hope that we find a recruit, a walk-on that can play linebacker. Because I'm like, yo, we're an offensive team. We got to get some offensive guys up in there. So I took away the scholarships for the middle linebackers, and I'm going back to find halfbacks that are in state, that are in Louisiana, because if you recruit in Louisiana, it saves you some points. Going over to Texas, all right, you want to do a phone call with the assistant coach, you go over to Louisiana, I believe it's 1 point. You do assistant coach phone call to Texas, that's 2 points, right? If you want to talk to your guy face-to-face with your assistant coach in Louisiana, that's 4 points. If you want to send your head coach to somebody in Louisiana, that's 8 points. You go over to Texas, it jumps up some. So we have to be very, very frugal. We have to be balling on a budget when it comes to this recruiting. I'm not even sure if we have unlimited minutes at this point. We might still have to wait till 8 o'clock with minutes free up. Do you guys remember that? Y'all might be too young. Y'all might be way too old. I don't know. But there was a time when your cell phone, you have minutes on your cell phone where if it wasn't 8 o'clock yet, you couldn't use that joker. You're going to run out of time, baby. And each text took away a minute. You could write hi, and that's 1 minute. I remember them days. Maybe you don't. I do. Anyways, we're also going to withdraw we had to let go of the tackle. We had to let go of the tackle just because I did not feel like we had a chance to get him, like a legitimate chance to get him. So if we don't have a legitimate chance to get you, I can't go after you. And I heard, especially when Dion was at Jackson State, there was a lot of HBCU head coaches and scouting departments that said, yo, if we're not in your top 3 and you're like a 4 or 5 star recruit, then we can't go after you. If you're a 3-star recruit, we can't go after you. We just can't. We would just be wasting our time. And this is the first time in this game that I've realized that we only got 22 points, and I couldn't tell you why. I could not tell you why it's that way. All I can do is speculate. One, we only had one nationally televised game, and that was versus Arizona State, where we got blown out, got the brakes beat off of us. We lost. We gave up 112 points in that game. Every other game, it was radio broadcasting only. You know what I mean? Maybe it got streamed on YouTube somewhere. I don't know. But there was no national TV coming in. Nobody was like, yeah. And then we lost a bunch of games too, obviously. So I think that hurt us. Because when we did ATU, we won 0 games our first year. But we were in the Pac-10. And I think that helped. Right now we are on our own, playing against schools that aren't that good, but still getting our teeth kicked in. So hopefully something can change. But this rebuild, this dynasty right here, it may be the longest one that we do because of the fact that I'm trying to figure out, how are we going to recruit guys? Do I have to take away all the skill points and all the percentages, all the budget, and just put into recruiting? We might have to. But in-season recruiting is going to be so very important. So our top 2 recruits, Howard and Big Nick. And I'm like, yo, do I want to fight with Miami? And I'm like, nah, I don't want to fight with Miami. We went down on your list just a little bit. I got to move on. Zach Howard, I'm hoping he wants to come to town. We might be in a dogfight with USC, but hey, he likes coaching style. Spread, he's a receiver. He likes that. We throw the ball all over the field, a little bit of an air raid attack. He likes that. Hopefully we can go more balanced this upcoming season. And when I say balanced, we're still an air raid offense. But again, under center, we might run the ball a little bit more and hopefully with a little bit more success. So these are the guys that we ended up getting. Obviously, we got our top guys in the in-season process. Got 2 running backs, 2 stars, both from Louisiana. Both got solid speed because our running back last year, 62 overall speed, man. That's not going to get it done. You know what I mean? Like really, or maybe it wasn't that low. But it was pretty low. It was pretty low. So these are your top schools. I'm going to show you the guys that we lost out on and show you where they're going to be playing their college football next. And the Texas Longhorns. Why can I say that? The Texas Longhorns were the number 15th recruiting class. So, yeah, Williams, the athlete, he did not choose a school. He was like, I'm not going to play college ball. His choice. Zach Howard ends up going to USC. It was a dogfight to the end. And I sent my coach out there. I was like, yo, we ain't got no money for this. I'm gonna send you with a bologna sandwich and a prayer. And hopefully you can recruit that guy. And he ends up going to USC. We did get Bush right there. And the goal is, I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you go after the tackle? I'm hoping that a walk-on comes in, like I mentioned. I'm hoping that we can turn one of these guys in to a corner, to a free safety, to a strong safety, to a middle linebacker, to an outside linebacker. That is the goal, all right? That is what I'm hoping for. Like that fullback right there that ended up going to Louisiana Tech, he wasn't going to play fullback here. We don't use fullbacks. And that's crazy coming out of my lips. You know how much I love the fullbacks. We don't use fullbacks here. All right, straight spread. We're going to spread you out. Barry Sanders style. We don't need no fullback in front of me. But I was going to move him to linebacker. So he made a good choice. If he really wants to play fullback, Louisiana Tech was the right school for you, because he was going to be playing on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm just looking at these overalls. I'm looking like, who can I move? We do not have a strong safety on the roster. So this athlete, 68 overall, I believe his speed is in the 80s, and then I move him over, and you're going to see it, or maybe I went past it too fast, but his speed got nerfed. His speed went down crazy. So I'm like, Rich, you got to move over to strong safety. I'm focusing on, look, he has 88 overall speed. I move him to corner. Look at this, 74 overall speed. His speed went down. It was 88 and it went down to 74. Now, we have not done any training yet, so maybe with a nice training, but matter of fact, I take that back, because incoming freshmen, they don't get the benefit of training. It's only for people that have been in the program for at least a year. And we didn't get anybody to transfer. We would have had to wait a year to play with them, because this is old school college football. But it's like, it's rough out here in these Grambling streets. That's all I can say. It is rough out here. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my halfbacks, and y'all got to move. Everybody's moving around. Bush is going to be our running back. One of our running backs, I had to switch his position, and that was kind of the plan. So we got Pope, and we got Johnson, and we got our boy Bush at running back, and hopefully it works out for us, man. Hopefully it works out. Tight end looks decent. O-line looks not so much. So maybe going under center isn't the brightest idea in the world. We might want to just be back there and, shotgun. But shotgun don't be working, because we kind of get exposed out there, because the play action is not as good in the shotgun. So I'm just trying to figure things out, and I'm just trying to hope that this team can win more than one games, and at least move up the polls so that we're at least recognized. Win some games. We're probably not going to be on TV that much, but if we can win some games, hopefully some recruits will be like, you know what? I want to come to Grambling State. They're going to be building a good program, because I feel like if we have another one-win season, Hugh Jackson about to get fired. Hugh is about to be out of a job. So I did end up moving Stallings. We'll move Stallings to cornerback. I tried Richards. I was like, I'm going to move Stallings. If he takes a dip in his speed, then so what? And he did. But you could see right there, he's the second most improved guy. So maybe I should trust the process a little bit more. Joe Barnes at middle linebacker is now 40 overall with 56 speed, but he's the most improved. Most improved guy. But outside of him, Stallings, who played receiver for us but is not a need anymore, he is going to be moving to cornerback. Right now he's 59 overall and he has 76 speed, which I think he had already, but when you moved him from receiver to corner, it did go down just a little bit. So that's that. So he has basically become one of our best corners by default. And we're going to be backing everybody up, and we're just going to hope that we can tackle. If we can tackle this season, that would be good. And the schedule that we're going to be playing, it's not going to be tough at all. Except for it will be, because we're just not that good at football. But for the most part, it will not be that tough, relatively speaking. All right, usually my schedules are in the B range for the most part. I'm looking to try to build a D schedule, or at the very least a C- schedule. Our quarterback though, 84 overall. He has another year of eligibility. Hopefully he stays, because then we won't have to go after a quarterback so heavily, even though I know that he could walk at any time. But this is when I like to recruit my quarterback, so I can have a incoming freshman while I can still have my guy as a starter. To me, I think that's perfect. I know people absolutely love the incoming freshmen, and they love to see these guys start for 4 seasons, even though most of the time they leave early, so they start for maybe 3 seasons. If they get redshirt, then they start for 2 seasons. For me, I'll much rather have my quarterback be a redshirt sophomore to a junior. Be in the program for 3 years before you get to start. That's what I would prefer. I think it works out better. Yes, there might not be too much intrigue in having the guy be in the program for that long and then they get to play, but it worked out for Mac Jones just a little bit. Worked out for Alabama doing it that way just a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning with things. But I would love it if this quarterback sticked around for another year after this one, but we will look for a quarterback to replace him. So by the time that he leaves, our guy could at least been in the program a solid season before. And we're in that stage where I'm okay with a freshman starting. But I'm saying moving forward, like with our Indiana Dynasty. Indiana Dynasty, we had 2 very good quarterbacks back to back. And that's kind of rare in college football, kind of. Like, I'm talking about really good quarterbacks. Like, you could say Oklahoma, and they did have a string of really good, really like 5 straight years of really good quarterback play. But, you know what I mean? I want these guys to be in the program for a little bit. So our schedule, it looks like this, man. That's exactly what it looks like. Is it great? Is it tough? Somewhat. So we got Southern, Eastern Illinois, we got Army, we got Wyoming, we got Louisiana Lafayette, we got Florida Atlantic, we got Central Michigan, then we have a bye week, then we got SMU, Idaho, Air Force, and I'm telling you, I was trying to go worse than this. But I wanted a game week 1 and I wanted a game week 15. I could not get one week 15, but I wanted one week 1 because usually there's not a lot of teams playing week 1, so that means they're probably going to get a game on TV. And I think that's important because we need recruiting dollars to send our coaches on planes to recruit people and not just, Ubering it from state to state, because I don't think that's a good look, all right? So we are ranked, at the bottom. Like there's no real reason to hold you from suspense or hold you in suspense. We're last, dead last. Hopefully we can change things around though. I'm still looking forward to this. Hopefully Hugh does not get fired. This better not be the last year of Grambling State. But that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope that this day is the best of your day. Tune me to get my friends. Peace, love. High sauce.